Welcome, 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 welcome. Hello, family.
Hello,
We are here.
hello.
Thank y'all for joining and on time. I see y'all. I
Um,
see y'all on time and ready. So,
Hello.
and I want to be respectful of your time. So, we're going to dive in. People may join here and there, but even if they don't listen, we are here. And for me, as long as one person showed up, I did my job. So, let's dive in. I'm going to share my screen, and this will be recorded, just FYI. So, you'll get a link as well if you want to share the wealth with those who weren't able to attend. You have that option. So, let's dive on in. All right. Can you see? Can you see my screen? Yes, no, not yet. Okay, hold on real
yeah,
quick.
not yet. There we go.
All right, can you see the screen now? Everybody see my screen? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's dive in. Gator Talk. This is the first. I think this is more than likely won't be the last. It just depends on how things go. But I feel like the a post show conversation would be needed and necessary. But I don't want to overcommit, so I don't want to speak anything before I'm ready to speak. So as of now, we have Gator Talk. What will happen later? I don't know. We'll see when we get there. So let's dive on in. Overview. What we talking about today? Um, Welcome and introduction. Our lived experiences. The salamander versus the gator, self-awareness, limiting beliefs, resources and support, and then some time for Q&A. So this podcast has been a a blessing that's been on my heart for years, over a decade. And within the past 5 years, I've been sitting on it. And people have been telling me, "Hey, you need your own podcast." And I'm like, "No, I just want to be on other people's podcasts." And they was like, "Nah, bro, you need your own." So I finally decided to get out of my own way and create this. And since I have, the energy, the love, the support has been phenomenal. And how I think about this podcast is a ripple. And when I think about a ripple, I think about whenever you take action, whenever you do something new, different, or uncomfortable, it's like throwing a pebble in the pond. And when you throw a pebble in the pond, it's going to make ripples and it's going to impact everything within that pond and beyond. And that's what this podcast is doing already. We just dropped Wednesday. Y'all are here today. This speaks volumes to who we are and where we're going. So, um, let me make sure we're good here. Yes. Okay. All right. So, introduction. I'm curious, and you can put in the chat box or you can unmute yourself because this is interactive. This is live. I'm just curious to know where you located in the world. Um, Please feel free to share where you at. Anybody?
Hey, hey. So Lewis here. I am in the Philadelphia area, not exactly, but outside of Philadelphia. And my first listening experience was in the car slash at home. So I was going through it, but I didn't take out that notebook so I could live to see the next one. So I could live to see the next one. So it was great, having history with you and hearing all of these things come to fruition is it was so exciting and exhilarating, and I just can't wait for the rest of them because it was real talk the entire time. Um, I'd say what stood out to me in particular, of course, the title of the episode, Salamander versus Gator, and just everything that goes along with that mentality. Um, as I too am a former salamander myself, um, it feels good, and these um, this approach to these things and how you frame it, I feel it's excellent and continues to stick with me in my personal and professional life. I think I'm most looking forward to hear other guest perspectives. That is what I'm most excited just to hear what others have to say. Um, and have I shared the wealth? Sort of, kind of. I'm working on it. I did share just this piece, the Gator Talk, but best believe this will be shared all around. So good stuff.
Excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Others, jump in. What you got?
Hey,
And you can
everybody.
jump in the chat or unmute. Yvez,
Yeah.
jump in.
Hey, y'all. My name's Yves, and I'm originally from Atlanta. I'm currently in Tucson, Arizona, traveling around as I do. Um, so it's a welcomed warmth in weather here. So I'm very excited to be here, very happy to be here. Dr. Branch, we go back, so it's just really cool to be on this side of the wall, with other people with you, uh, being in this community. And I am also excited. And Lewis, it's so good to see you. I'm so excited to hear everybody else's opinions and shares on this and how it impacts their lives. What's standing out the most to me is, the transition from one identity to the other. That I get the luxury of looking into these things and how I choose to identify in my life and who I'm becoming, who I was, who I want to be, who I am right now. I get the luxury of looking at these things. I get the luxury of choosing to be who it is that I want to be and having intentionality behind that. So um this is a progression for me. This is something that I get to do. So I'm really excited to continue forward and yeah, hear everybody else's shares. Nice to see everybody and nice to see you, Dr. Branch. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Meg, what you got over here?
Hi, everybody. I'm Meg. I am currently in Niagara Falls, New York, originally from Toledo, Ohio. So pumped to be here with you, Dr. Branch, and friends. I'm just, I need my daily dose of you. So it's like a vitamin. Um, my first listening experience. So I typically listen to podcasts when I'm walking my dog, but the way that it fell, I got to listen to it last night while I was doing some things, and then again this morning to make sure I got the nuggets that I needed to get, and had to go run and find a pen. What stood out for me was the 5 C's in the gator side of things, because I didn't realize how many of those things I actually do, and the couple that I need to work on a little bit more. And then I am looking forward to hearing other people's stories and trying to figure out why you picked the people that you picked to be your guests.
Oh yeah, that's good. Ooh, that's good, Meg. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. So this is part of the Q and A. Imagine being able to watch a Netflix show, and then on that Friday they invite you in to talk about the show. You talk to the directors and all that. That's what this is about. So you get that real live feedback and interaction, and a lot of things that's shared here, I can build it into the podcast. So a lot of things have been pre-recorded, but this is how we build this community. This is how we connect. So you get to curate as well as I do with creating this. So to answer that question, why or how did I pick? I started off with my network, my people. So there's a lot of guests that's going to be on this show from Denzel, Tyler Perry, Oprah might even be on here. I don't know, they ain't none of my business, but they're going to be here. But before I get to them, I got to get to my village. So I started with my village, people that's helped me along the way, people I've been connected with, people that I work with, colleagues, family, friend, like village. So anybody on here know that there is, especially during the first season, there's a connection. Something happened. There was something happened between me and that guest, and I value their perspective, who they are, what they do, where they've come from, where they've grown, and I may meet somebody in different walks of my life, from birth to where I am right now. Those are the people that's on the show starting out. Where we're going is people I don't even damn know. We know of, and may know about, but this show is going to attract the people that it's supposed to have on the show. So I love how organic it is so far, and it's going to continue to do that because I know how the show is going to start. I know how it's going to end, what happens in between. Ain't none of my business. It's just going to be what it is. It's going to be organic, as organic, and Lewis, Lewis will definitely connect to this, as organic as a Dole or a Chiquita sticker on your forehead. Like, that's how organic this show is. We in the section in the grocery store that's like reserved. You know, people take care of us over here. So that's how I view the show. So Meg, excellent question. I appreciate you asking. And it's just been a free flow of different people. And the arrangement of the show is different based off of what's happening organically. So just to know about the show, every episode builds onto the next and the next and the next and the next. So if you start this from the beginning, which you all have, you won't believe what will happen by the end of the year for yourself and the people around you. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. So let's dive in. This is great. I'm having a good time. I don't know about y'all, but I'm having a ball right now. All right, so let's jump in. Our lived experiences. So everyone, I don't know anybody who's exempt from this. When it comes to our lived experiences, more often than not, we all directly or indirectly is impacted by trauma. What's trauma? The response to a deeply distressing or disturbing event that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope, causes feelings of helplessness, diminishes their sense of self and their ability to feel a full range of emotions and experiences. So, for example, all of us, if you're still alive today, you're alive because you're on this call or listening, you survived a traumatic experience. COVID-19 was a traumatic experience for all of us. Everybody on earth, in my humble opinion, was impacted directly or indirectly by COVID for those few years that we were in it. That's trauma because we live life differently now because of COVID. That's a traumatic experience. I'm curious, and please hop in the chat box. What are some examples? Because that's global, that's big. What are some examples of, we're going to take it a little bit closer to us, of professional trauma? This could be related to work or school. If you could throw in the chat box, what are some examples of that professional trauma? What comes up for you? Some examples of professional trauma could be a horrible boss, horrible colleagues, racism, systematic racism, imposter syndrome. All of these things can impact us in ways that can change the outcome of our lives. Workplace bullying, yes, indeed. Come on now. Thank you, Maria. That bullying, not having, or overworked and underpaid. I mean, you name it. Traumatic experiences at your job, especially if you're in a helping profession. A client may pass away. A client may die by suicide. So all of those things can impact us in a lot of different ways. And if we're not aware, then it can impact us where we're not able to take care of ourselves. Thank you, Vez. Professional trauma with microaggression. Absolutely, especially for people of color. Next, what are some examples of personal trauma? Throw in the chat box. Personal trauma could be our upbringing, right? Our parents. Did we have both growing up? Did we have one or the other? What was their lived experience? What did they give to us? Daddy issues all day long, mommy issues, relocation, where I am, where I'm going, sexual abuse, sexual assault, molestation, like all of those things, addiction, you name it. All of these things have impacted us in one way or another, again, directly or indirectly. So therefore, a lot of the things that happen to us has a lasting impression, especially if we don't deal with it, if we don't check it. And many of us don't check it because it's too painful. It's just too painful. I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather sweep it on the rug. I'd rather not. Self-harm, generational trauma. Ooh, yes, generational trauma, abuse, loss, neglect, ancestral trauma, familial trauma. Absolutely, we're all impacted in some kind of way. So if that's the case, and we all can agree to that, then there's things that we have to do a little bit different. But in order to do something different, I got to be mindful of where I live. Ooh, y'all ready? Buckle up, buttercup. I got to be mindful of where I live. That mindfulness of where I live is based off of my house. So this show and who I am, I'm going to talk about these concepts because they make sense to me, and that's why I share it. And hopefully or expectantly, it'll make sense to you because you're a human being, because that's what I'm talking about. Human beings doing human things. So when I think about us in our house, our lived experience, there's 3 levels, 3 layers. First layer is the attic. That's your mind. That's where you spend most of your time. The movies you create in your head. They are there, and you are phenomenal at directing these movies. You know how it's going to start. You know the middle. You know the end. You already know the credits. It's all your name. Producer, director, actor. It's all you. And that's fine if that's what you choose to do. However, I can't live in the attic. I can visit, but I don't need to live. Living is I'm not able to be present because I'm so stuck in my head. Second is the living room. Now, in between the attic, the living room, and the basement, there are stairwells. And those stairwells are the places that we are in between time, in the meantime, until we decide where we want to be. So from the attic, when you get out of your head and you are hanging out in the living room, imagine, it's really nice, it's plush, it's your most comfortable place. It's where you can be vulnerable, you can be authentic. This podcast, to me, and this conversation is part of being in the living room. Because you showed up, you're present, you're here, you're ready, you're available. You don't know what's going to happen, but you don't care. I am here and I am present. So everybody has life going on, and you all chose to be here despite whatever you have going on in life, which means you are intentional about investing in yourself. That's what this podcast helps you do, invest in you. So that's in the living room. Last but not least, all the trauma we talked about, all the things that's happened directly, indirectly, we lock that shit up in the basement. we don't go down there. The door is locked, padlocked. We don't go down there. We ain't inviting company in. We do not spend any time down there because all the things that happen to us, we throw down there and lock it up. However, how can I heal from something if I choose not to deal with it? Ooh, y'all ready? Trying to warn y'all. I have to tell y'all what was going to happen. So, if that's how we live, the attic, right? But let's go a little further. Salamander life. So part of the house is figuring out who you were. You guys brought this up earlier, who you were, who you are becoming, and knowing these different stages and places that you are. So for many of us, based off of who we once were, because you already a different version of you now from listening to the podcast. You can't be the same anymore because you have new information. Now, this salamander life, we're talking about the old version of you because this ain't you anymore. If you notice, salamander life, there are 4 P's. Perfection, the perfectionist mentality, to break that down a little bit, is the black and white mentality. It's either one way or the other. I'm either good or I'm bad. I'm either great or I'm shit. That doesn't work anymore because between that black and white mentality, there's at least 50 shades of gray. So there's at least 50 different opportunities for me to learn, to grow, to do differently. Second is perception, basically your lens. In your lens, I look at the empire, which we talked about, that got 10 stories. That empire is now considered a hotel. And in your hotel, as you know, with a hotel, you live there temporarily. You stay there temporarily. It depends on what floor you're on. And when it comes to those floors, it's your mindset, it's your perception. So if I'm on the 3rd floor, I can only see 3rd floor things. If I'm on the 10th floor, I see 10th floor things. More often than not, people that live on the 3rd floor can't have a conversation with people that live on the 10th floor. Come on with it. I can go down to the 3rd floor, but you can't come up to me because there's so many other floors you haven't even stepped into yet. Come on with it. 3rd, patience. You have none. As a salamander, you have 0 patience. You want the shit yesterday. I want it now. Why am I not this? Why am I not that? Why didn't this happen or that happen? That's part of being a salamander. It didn't happen because it's not supposed to happen yet. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen, salamander. So patience is, I'm okay in the gray. Ooh! Last but not least, because you step in the past or the future. Past is things that happen that you cannot control or change, but it's current in your present life because you feel guilt, shame, and judgment around what you can't control or change. That's salamanders. All right? Now, I want you to notice something with this salamander. This salamander is squishy, it's soft, it's vulnerable, it's finishable, it's cartoon, right? It feels fun. If you notice, the salamander's mouth is wide open, but it ain't got no teeth. Salamanders talk the most shit and ain't got no damn teeth. I just need you to see you. I just need you to see you. For those who are still salamanders, I need you to see you. So that means we have to listen more than we talk. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. I need to be listening more than I'm talking. That's what salamanders don't do. Now, we talked about the house, talked about the salamander. This is what salamanders do. They have a junk drawer. Anybody out there that have a junk drawer? This is your evidence that you are a salamander. Why? Because of these same rules. Perfection. I don't want to lose anything, right? The perception is just a battery, even though it don't work. It's just a battery, no big deal. Patience. I don't have patience with myself to be patient enough to get rid of things that don't serve me. Present. I'm not present because I got a menu from 99. I got an iPhone box 2005. You know what I mean? I'm not present. I'm living in the past. Okay. So your junk drawer, this is your first life work assignment. If you haven't done it yet, I would challenge you all to choose to go in your house, home, kitchen, wherever you know that junk drawer, and get rid of one thing that doesn't serve you anymore. Just one thing. And it may not be a junk drawer. It could be those clothes that's in your closet that you ain't been able to wear since freshman year. Could be those shoes. It could be things that you need to donate, whatever it is. Get rid of the things that don't serve you. Because if you can do that physically, you can also do that emotionally by going in that basement. Challenge yourself to do something different. And when you remove all those things from that junk drawer, you become a different version of you. You become a gator. I love gators. As you notice, the first thing you notice about the gator, the mouth is closed, teeth is out, arms folded, which lets you know I came here and not to play. I am here. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything. You see me based off of my presence. So gators or gator life, this is the life that this podcast is going to help you grow into is, number one, instead of trying to be perfect, you're being consistent. I just show up every day. Every day. I just keep showing up. The second, you're curious. You don't know everything and you're willing to be a student to learn. That's with any and everything in life. Because for many of us, we believe, again, if I live on the third floor, ain't no other floors above me. You're just getting started. Third is creative. Creativity comes from vulnerability and authenticity. Think about how authentic you are and what you create when you're authentic. That's how the podcast was developed, by me choosing to be creative and being my authentic self. For those who know me, which is everybody on this call, I am no different on this podcast than I am in any other capacity. Now, that's 99.9% of the time I'm authentic. That 0.1% of the time is when I get pulled over by the police. These are facts. I gotta shift shit up. Why? Because I want to live to listen to the next episode of the podcast. Provide the podcast for you. So I got to be mindful of how I move and how I navigate, because a lot of salamanders have certain beliefs that impacts people of color. No matter your ranking, no matter your degree, your education, your money, for some people, they can't see you beyond their beliefs about you. So that's a reality that many of us have to manage. And if I'm creative and I'm being vulnerable, I'm being authentic, I'm protecting me by knowing me and what works for me and what does not, regardless of what anybody else thinks, because what people think about me ain't none of my damn business. These are facts. 4, gators are courageous. They take risks. They jump out there. They don't care. Salamanders, they overthink and they're in their head. They're in the attic, so they ain't doing much but thinking and enjoying the fruits of their labor in the attic. Understand, you can't do anything in the living room when you're stuck in the attic or stuck in the basement. You have to do the work in the living room you have to do the work in the attic and in the basement in order to come to the living room and put these things into action. That's courage. You've got to spend time in the attic, in the basement, in order to develop courage. Because the reason you're not courageous is based off of what you think and what you believe. Last but not least, what I love about gators, they got a party hat on all the damn time. It's invisible. That means they celebrate before, during, and after. That's what gators do. Salamanders don't celebrate at all until it's a planned celebration, such as a graduation, a wedding, a funeral, the repast at the funeral, right? That's when we celebrate. Like, oh, the repast after the funeral. You know that after party after the funeral? Yeah, that's when we celebrate. We're celebrating life. Y'all know exactly what that is. We're part of the same village. Oh, y'all having fun yet? All right. Ooh, somebody, thank you, Lewis. I missed that. Lewis just threw away instructions from a blender he's been using for 3 years. I love that. Yes. That's us. That's us all day long. So the self-awareness piece, to know who you are, is the 3 parallels. Who you were, who you are, who you're becoming. Those 3 versions of you will always show themselves if I'm paying attention. More often than not, we're not paying attention. Who you were is the old version of you from birth to where you are right now. That's a version of you. Who you are is who you are at this time, presently in life. Who you're becoming is the person you can visualize yourself being. What I love about these 3 parallels, imagine yourself in Vegas, it's pay-per-view. You're fighting yourself all day long. And that fight between you and you is your current self and your old self in the octagon, duking it out. And the arena is packed with all different versions of yourself from birth to where you are right now. The future version of you is outside the arena trying to decide, do I get a ticket to this shit show? Do I take my ass home? I don't know. But I get to decide because every day I need you all to know you get to decide who I'm going to be today. Am I going to be my future self, my better self? Am I going to be my current self? I'm going to be my past self. Every day I get to decide. Now, these decisions is based off of systems, belief systems to be exact. How I simplify belief systems is 2 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 2 is 4. What's the difference between these two equations? One's a fact and one's a belief. That's it. Which one is a fact? 2 plus 2 is 4. How do we know that? Not just because you're taught and told this, it's because it can be proven. That's why 2 plus 2 equals 4. It can be proven. 2 plus 2 is 5 is a belief. It can't be proven, but I can believe something so long that it becomes a fact to me, even when it's not. Example, junk drawer. That junk drawer has followed you from birth to wherever the hell you at in life right now because of your belief. It's a belief that I need this instructions to this cell phone that I don't even own anymore, or this remote control to a TV I got rid of. Many of us have been taught and told beliefs, which are our rules of engagement. It's how we choose to live life. However, those rules may be based off of an old version of you, not the current version. So if this is the current version of me, then therefore I need to develop new rules. In order to be the better version of you have to develop new rules. One of the best rules I can highly recommend all of you consider is how do I begin investing more internally than externally? We've been taught and told to invest externally, meaning cars, clothes, shoes, food, gifts, just outwardly things. Internal, books, education, podcasts, music, things that make me feel good inside, therapy, all those things. So this podcast is helping to create new rules of engagement. Simplicity at its finest, 2 plus 2 is 5. So when you notice yourself doing things that you're really caught up on, it has to be this way, check it, challenge it, change it if it doesn't work. If it does, keep doing it. But if it doesn't, it's an opportunity to do something different. My belief is 99.9% of the things that we do is based off of what we believe. What we believe bases what we feel. So whatever you do or don't do is based off of what you feel. Just want to talk about facts. Procrastination, feelings, right? What you feel. Let's go further. Challenge accepted. Boom. Next piece, Superman mentality. We all have it. Okay, especially if you're a person of color. I'm just putting it on us. Okay, being a person of color, we all have the Superman mentality. Now, white folks, y'all included too. But the core is the Superman mentality. This belief that I have to be everything for everybody because that's what I was taught and told. I got to be twice as good, twice as great, twice as better. I got to do all these things. That's a belief. It's not a fact. It may have applied during the time that your parents taught you that, or even their parents taught them that. But that doesn't mean it applies to today because it's a belief. The Superman mentality is the belief that I can save the world. The reality is, the fact is you cannot. Think about Superman. Superman can't save the world. He only can save who he can. And the only people that he can save, they live in Metropolis. So if you live in Gotham City, you're fucked. You're fucked. That man, and that may not work because Bitcoin is up. He's hanging around with Elon Musk now. So you're done. You're done. Just want to talk about facts. That's it. That's it. So Superman mentality. Superman real to me based off my beliefs. Don't judge, or you can. So if Superman is real, I don't know if y'all know this or not. Superman works a full-time job, 40, 60 hours a week at the Daily Planet. He's a journalist at the Daily Planet. So when he goes to save somebody, he takes off work. He takes up PTO. Hey, man, I need to go save this woman. I'll be right back. I'm take some time off. Go save this woman hanging from this building. Why is she up there? I don't know. But this woman hanging from this building, he takes off work. He lets everybody know. He goes to change first. And then he goes to save this woman. Brings her down to earth, makes sure she's good, and he's off. Do you know where he goes? Typically not back to work. He goes to the ice cave. And the ice cave is actually the fortress of solitude. He kicks back with a six-pack, watching Netflix in the living room, rubbing his feet together with his shoes and socks off, watching his favorite TV show or movie. That's what the real Superman does. With all the power he has, he does that. Guess what we do as Superman? Ooh, superwoman, super person. Guess what we do? We sneak off work. Yes, no. We sneak off work to save somebody else, not even to save ourselves. We don't even change clothes. We put our cape on and we go. We go. We grab the woman, bring her down to earth, make sure she's good, wiping off the blood, knocking off the soot, bringing people in. Hey, let's help this woman. Let's help this woman. And you help that person and you stay there until the next emergency. Then you go off to that one. You're cheating yourself because we don't know how to take care of ourselves because we're going by the belief that was told to us from childhood all the way to now. You cannot save the world. The only person you can control or change or save is yourself. That's it. It's just you. Ooh, I tried to warn y'all. I really did. I really did. So, connecting. All right. So, moving away from the Superman mentality is connecting with a village, meaning I can't do it all myself. And it's not my job or my responsibility. I'm not responsible for anybody besides the person that I had. That's my belief. The only person you're responsible for is the person that you had. And then if that person happens to be a grown-ass adult, Rusty, you're not responsible for that person at that time because they're an adult. But for some of us as parents or grandparents, we choose to be responsible for people that we're not responsible for anymore. We may have been, but that's not who we are right now. So, connection. I love village. I love the community. I love conversations, and I want us to have more candid, honest, authentic conversations. So I want to create a space for us to do that. How we do that, what are we talking about? In the podcast, every episode gives you something to talk about, gives you something to reflect, give you something to process. This webinar alone gives you something to do to dive into yourself. So the podcast is an experience that I'm curating for anybody who wants it. And the reality is everybody don't want it. Everybody don't have a desire for it. And that's okay. Those who do, they're going to dive in. They're going to be a part of it, just like you all showed up today. Just like you are listening, the ones who had the recording, because you got responsibilities and you didn't take off PTO. So you're exactly where you're supposed to be at this time. There are no coincidences. I don't believe in that. That's my belief. I'm entitled to it. So the podcast is a way to connect. If you feel moved by the podcast, by an episode, share it with someone that's close to you. Share it with someone who you feel as though can benefit from it. Your job is to share it. Your job isn't to get them to do anything. Give it away with no expectation because somebody gave it to you with no expectation, whether you listen to it or not. If it helps you, you share it to help somebody else, but they have to want it for themselves. Superman mentality is you need to listen to this third episode about relationships. Oh, that's the one because you in a horrible situation. That ain't your business. That is not your business. That is not your place. Your job is to give it, and people going to receive whatever they're supposed to hear at the time that they're supposed to hear. Again, Chiquita Banana, the old sticker on your forehead, organic. Connecting with self. This podcast will give you an opportunity to connect with yourself because who listening to it? You by yourself, however you listen to podcasts, or you may have a listening party or a watch party because it's available on YouTube and Spotify and other platforms as well. So you can do audio and video. It's intentional because I want to touch as many people as I possibly can. My goal is to reach 3 million. I got 5 years to do it. That's what I gave myself. Why? Because I'm a gator. I come into this with a plan, with an agenda. I'm going to give it 5 years. I expect I'll be picked up by somebody within 5 years. Somebody gonna be like, oh, we see, oh yeah, come over here and do this with us. So all y'all networks out there, people related to network, let them know who are here. Let them know who out here. Because I'm coming. And I'm coming for anyone who wants to get better. One way to get better is to connect with yourself. The best way to connect with yourself, in my opinion, one way is journaling. Because journaling is a contract between you and you. It's whatever you write, and it's different versions of yourself. From the first journal entry to the last, those are different versions of you. So the beauty of journaling, and I highly recommend when you're listening to the podcast, do some journaling. What comes up for you? Write it down. If you need, and you can use anything that you have, but if you need a journal, I got you on that. So the Gator Scales Journal, I'm curating now to be available on Amazon. So within the next week or so, you'll have access to a Gator Scales Journal that you can purchase, and it's connecting. So if you say, for instance, you're in an airport and you see somebody with a Gator Scales Journal, it's automatically a conversation. I already know you good people. Let's talk. Let's talk. Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to run into people that got this journal out, and you already have a friend. You already have a family. You already have somebody who's in the same place on the same floor of your hotel. Come on. We're on the same floor. We're on the 20th floor. Because you can't be on the third floor with a Gator Scales Journal. Can't do that. You're at least on the 10th floor. You understand who you are. So connecting with yourself, I highly recommend it. Next, the village. Connect with the community. There's a community we building. Social media, like, share, comment, follow, unfollow, block, unfriend, whatever it is. Create the community. Also, there's a community that I've created on Telegram. So reach out to Telegram. Everything that you need, I put it. It's in the link tree. So hop on that link tree, and you can get access to anything that we're doing. Also, share it. Give it away. Let people decide if they want to be a member or not. It's none of our business. Our job is to just share. That's it. So join the community, create a community, build a community. If you notice, everybody here is in a different state, but we're all connected on this platform. We family now, y'all. And y'all stuck with me. Y'all stuck with me until you decide, I'm good, Dr. Branch. I've had enough. Shit, I've had enough. Okay? You may get to that place. When you have enough, take a pause, come back later. Because we moving, we building. One thing I love about the hotel is based off of the floors that you have. So your first hotel typically is about 10 floors, 10 stories. Once you get to the 10th floor, there's a rooftop. And on the rooftop is all the things that you want in life at that stage in life. The reality is, all the things that you want on the rooftop, you're going to attract by becoming the person that has those things. It's not the things, it's the being, the person you become to attract whatever you're supposed to have. Once you get those things, you've evolved from that building. Therefore, you leave and go to the next one that has 20 stories and you start at ground one. Not even ground zero, you're at one. So understand, when you leave certain hotels, days in, and you go to the Ritz, you lose a lot of people. Because there's folks that cannot afford to even be on the first floor of the Ritz-Carlton. Plies, I need you on the show too, Plies. I'll let your boy come through. So Ritz-Carlton, there's 20 stories there. There's a rooftop there. There's more things there. And guess when you get to the 20th floor and get to the rooftop of that? Boom, you outgrow that space and you go to the next spot, Four Seasons. It got 30 floors at the Four Seasons. And you just keep moving, you keep building, and it doesn't end until we end, and we don't end until death. Ooh. What I want to challenge you to do is invest more in yourself. Understand you will always get 100% return on your investment when you invest in yourself. Yes, I'm quoting me. Why not? Go. Last thing is I need you to be willing to kill or the death of the Superman mentality by changing your belief, by challenging your belief, by looking at life from a different perspective. Your responsibility isn't to save anyone besides yourself. So death to the Superman mentality, because the Superman mentality has been killing us for years. Let me give you an example. My belief, and I'm entitled to it as a Black man from the Black culture, Black community, I believe, and I don't think this is even cultural, I just think this is human. I believe that majority of Black grandmothers die tragically. Why? Because of the Superwoman mentality. They take care of their kids, their kids' kids, their kids' kids. They take care of the church. They take care of this person. They take care of everybody but themselves. They cooking Thanksgiving by themselves, and you're there to eat and leave. They're cleaning up. Heartbreak, heartache, heart attack, divorce, addiction, mental health, physical health, diabetes, depression, amputation, you name it. It's tragic. It's tragic. And then when they die, we go to the funeral, and guess what we serve? The same thing that killed them, we're eating at the repast. I just want to talk about it. So if that's the reality, that is a learned behavior that's passed down from generation to generation to generation. And it doesn't end until we decide I'm not doing that anymore because that doesn't work for me. An example of that is cleaning out that junk drawer. Because if I'm still holding on to things that don't work for me, the belief is I'm going to need it one day. How do you need something that doesn't work? That equates to the poverty mindset. That equates to I'm not going to have enough. That equates to I don't believe in abundance. Because if I believe in abundance, I need to make room for what's about to come. But I can't make room for things if my junk drawer is full. If I start getting rid of things that don't work and start bringing things that do work, that junk drawer transforms from a junk drawer to a utility drawer, which means everything in that bitch works. Change the game, baby. The game. Responsibility. So, as we close out, because I want to be mindful of your time, I want to open the floor for some questions. So let's dive in. What questions do you have about anything related to the podcast? Anything. I'm all ears.
Hey y'all, I have a question. So thank you so much for the fruitful discussion here. I enjoyed every second of it. My question is in regards to the basement. So if the things are deeply uncovered and kind of ancient, how do I go in and uncover these things? How do I remember or even find my way into the basement to get a hold of these things?
Thank you, brother. Thank you for that phenomenal question. And to me, the answers are always around you. We're just not paying attention to them. So what I call when it comes to the basement work is breadcrumbs. And breadcrumbs are things that we can eat that's hidden in plain sight. We don't touch. An example of that, say for instance, I'm in traffic and somebody cuts me off and I lose my shit. That's an indicator something's going on with me that I don't know anything about. Because why am I so irritated that I can run my car into this person or run off the damn bridge or flip them off or whatever the case may be? I'm dealing with some anger. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You trying to kill folks already? Like, what's going on? That's a breadcrumb. I need to deal with me. I got some anger issues. It came from somewhere. Or, say, for instance, some miscommunication happened between you and your partner, or spouse, whomever, and you ready to choke them out. You ready to straight Ron our tests, right? That means there's some unresolved things that you're dealing with, right? If anything triggers you, that's a breadcrumb. It's an opportunity to go in the basement. What is this about? And I'll share personal for me, who I used to be, because I'm an empath, I feel everything emotionally. So sometimes if I have a really tough day emotionally, late at night, I'll go to a fast food restaurant. Food brings me comfort, the old me. Food brought me comfort. So midnight, I'm in McDonald's line. Never realized, this is comfort for you because you don't feel safe. Something triggered you, something happened, and now you in McDonald's or damn Taco Bell, which is the worst food to be eating in my humble opinion. But I'm there at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning to feel better about being hurt earlier. Not recognizing I need to establish and maintain healthier boundaries because most of our boundaries go up to the kneecap. Imagine like a little brick wall you building around you goes to your kneecap, which means anybody can step over that wall and be all in your face. Healthier boundaries is I know how to say no and I don't apologize for it and I don't make excuses for it. Here's another indicator. I got plenty, please know. Here's another indicator. If I'm constantly apologizing for being who I am, that's basement work. I apologize for every damn thing. Oh, I'm sorry I'm this. I'm sorry I'm that. I'm not sorry for shit. Thank you for your patience. I don't apologize, boo-boo. Thank you for being patient with me. I'm not sorry for nothing. This is who I am authentically. You can you can accept it or you can adjust. This is who I am. So those are ways that you can start looking at the basement. Also, relationships, your eating habits, your working out, health habits. What you doing? What you not doing? What you're hiding? All that shit is the breadcrumbs. Now, understand if I keep eating breadcrumbs over time, those breadcrumbs are gonna become a little loaf of bread. You know what I'm saying? It might even be a honey bun. And if I keep eating and keep seeing these things, then it comes to me more naturally. I see it more clearly. I see it more often. And before you know it, you're going to wake up in Panera Bread. meaning it's a bread factory. Every opportunity around me, I take advantage of to become the best version of me. If you want to go further than that, imagine not even being in Panera Bread, wherever you located, but imagine being in Paris with the baguette as big as the Eiffel Tower. Like that's the level that you can go to, from a breadcrumb to a big ass piece of bread in the heart of Paris. Y'all understand the analogy, the metaphor? But that's how we begin that process of looking at the basement. That's one. That's with us on our own. The second, you can seek professional help. If you see any licensed professional that's great at what they do, my humble opinion, because there's good therapists and there's great ones. The horrible ones, we ain't gonna talk about because everybody talking about it. So if you connect with a therapist that's a good fit, a great fit, they will let you know from the first session what's going on. And they will let you know based off of what you shared with them. They're not telling you anything new or different. They're telling you what you told them in a way that you can understand, that you can comprehend. I didn't even realize that. You know why? Because you're in it. Your therapist isn't. Think about the last time you gave somebody relationship advice in their horrible ass relationship. Did it change anything? Hell no. Why? Because you can't see it when you in it. Think about your last horrible ass relationship. You didn't know it was horrible till you got out of it. Damn, that was horrible. You didn't know till you got out. Changed. And you never went back to that situation. You never went back to that unhealthy stuff. You came back different whatever you did. So, long answer, but that's what I got. That's the question you had. Those are the answers I have. Thank you for that question. Others, Lewis, I see you. Come on, what you got?
So I don't even think it's less of a question, but it's something else that just stood out to me for the podcast. I had to write it down because I just loved it. Don't take my word for it, take your life for it.
Ooh, let's go.
Yes.
Go.
I just had to bring it up because I was like, ooh, just like that. Literally. I was like, a dog's wondering what's going on. Like, why is he screaming? Because I was like, he preached the word again. He did it again. Um, and it just speaks volumes. Like, for me, that just means bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. And as you said, you can, if you're investing 100% in yourself, you never go wrong. Never go wrong.
And where, how, why the investment will return. But as
Mhm.
long as you're investing in you, you're going to get a return. And to me, the podcast, listening to the podcast, sharing a podcast is an investment. Like, how can this, yo, we just at the first episode. And I'm look at me, I'm still geeked. We had one episode. I'm already booked for February, end of February. That's how much content we got already. 2 episodes a week, Sundays and Wednesdays. To February is already done. Yeah, I'm not playing, y'all. I'm not playing. I've been sitting on this for too long. Now that I'm out here, y'all ain't gonna be able to shut me up. Why? Because I've been quiet for so long based off of my beliefs. Think about it. For a lot of people of color, you're taught and told who you are and who you need to be. And then society also doubles down on who we are and who we need to be. The reality is, can't nobody tell you who you are or who you are not but you. It's the only person. But we believe and buy into what people have said. I'm done buying in. Do you see my t-shirt? You see the shirt? That's where I'm at right now. You can't tell me anything different. Why? Why not? Think about any and everything in this life. It's based off of beliefs, perception, ideas, and human beings doing human things. People. Whatever it is you believe in, whatever has meaning to you, is what you created. At any point in time, you can make an addendum or change the rules related to what means something to you. It's the meaning. The meaning creates a feeling, that an emotion, and that emotion is why we do or choose not to do something. It's not the thought. It's not the belief. It's not the emotion. It's the behavior. The behavior is the result of all these things. So if I'm not mindful of all these things, I'm definitely not going to be mindful of my behavior. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Hashtag insanity. Whew. Other questions? What else? I'm here.
Well, actually, go on, Mike. Go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, what did the whole process look like for you? I mean, I have a general idea, but like from paper to literally aired on Wednesday.
Great, great question. Again, this has been 10 years in the making. 5 years to make it. So it's always been there. I've been talking this shit for a long time. I'm just sharing it with everybody else now. So, so this stuff has been an evolution of me as a person. 43 years of life as a professor, as a supervisor, as a student, as a colleague, as a motivational speaker. Like all the things that I do and all the things that I am is how I prepare for this. Now, the reality is, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Still don't. But I'm doing the best I can. What I have is that's what gators do. So the best way I can describe how this came into existence or came to fruition is I'm the pilot of this airplane that I'm building and flying at the same time. I'm the pilot, I'm the co-pilot, I'm in first class, I'm in low class. I'm in the very back seat, in the middle aisle, next to the bathroom. I'm your grounds crew. I'm baggage claim. I do it all. So everything you see at the airport, I'm doing it related to this podcast. And I'm doing it and building a team along the way. So I share this authentically and transparently because none of us know what we're doing in any capacity, whatever it is. And you figure it out by doing it. Think about life. Think about relationships. Think about your job. When you first started your job, you was a salamander. Look at you now. You a gator. You're good at your job now. You actually put in PTO and leave and go home to the ice cave. Yes, me. I see you, man. Yes, you set those boundaries. I'm good. But everything that you do, you start as a salamander. Everything. Start a master's program, a doc program, new job, new relationship, new house, new dog, new this, new that. You are a novice. The challenge is, how do I accept me for being a novice? Here's an example. I look at the counseling profession like the game of chess. You can learn how to play chess in about 10, 15 minutes, but it can take you a lifetime to master. So therefore, I know I'm playing chess. I got 20 years in this chess game. I don't know everything, but I got 20 years worth. So I'm still learning, even at this level, even as a gator, because gators have the ability to continue to learn. Salamanders, they know it all. They know everything already. Know all of it. They don't need no help. So that's how this came to be. So if you have a feeling, an inclination about anything that you want to do, the only thing stops you is you. Because the only thing stopped me from making this podcast over a decade ago was me. Microphone's been out. Zoom been out. I've been talking shit. The only thing stops you is you. Now, here's the other piece. My Uncle Myron. I got a rich uncle. His name is Myron Golden. Now he's real to me. We ain't even met yet. But he's the person. He adopted me and everything. Don't even know it. I fly on his private plane and everything. He don't even know me yet. But I speak life into existence because that's what I believe. So Uncle Myron mentioned, it was a TED talk, and he mentioned that whatever we do or don't do is based off of a feeling, an emotion. You procrastinate. The reason you procrastinate is based off of your feeling. And it hit me really hard of, why haven't you done the podcast yet? I bought a microphone. I got all this equipment, all this different stuff, and I still didn't do it. And I didn't do it because I was afraid of what people would think and what would they say, and I'm this and I'm that, and I can't do this and that. All these beliefs from whom I once was. Uncle Myron gave me permission to recognize who the hell I am. Once I heard that TED Talk, on that day, I recorded my first episode. Now, the episode that you all had access to, that's like the 8th version of everyone. I've been practicing. So that's the best version I had at the time. By the time we finish every month, you're going to notice how different the podcast changes because I'm changing. I'm growing. I'm becoming a gator in it. This is my first week. It ain't even a week yet. 48 hours in. And I told y'all, I got a 5-year plan. There's no way I'm going to do this at this high level and in 5 years not be somebody. I'm coming after Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, hey, bro, I'm coming. David Shands, I'm coming. Whoever these big time podcasters, I'm on my way. I just didn't know, but I'm coming. I'm speaking it now because I believe it. Understand, whether you do or don't is what you need. Thank you, Uncle Myron. I can't wait to meet you, bro. Other questions? We got about 5 minutes left. What else you got?
All right, 2 questions. One, yes. Where's the merch? Because I need the merch. Second question is, when you are in gator mode and that salamander just starts creeping in, I don't know what the rest of the question is, but that's what I got.
I got you. That's plenty. So the merch is coming. Didn't I tell y'all I was the pilot and in the backseat no class? The merch is coming. I'm developing the merch in real time. This ain't even my product, but what you will see me wearing on the podcast, you'll be able to purchase when that time comes. So just know it's coming. Same thing with the Gator Scales Journal. It's coming. I had it available on Amazon, and then got a few prints, and I'm just like, this ain't it. I want to beef it up. So I want to give y'all a quality product from the beginning, and it's just going to continue to build and get better. So that's the first thing with merch. So it is coming. Second question. What you're talking about is in between a salamander and a gator. So two analogies that connects with that. The first thing is you're in between the attic and the living room, or the basement and the living room. And the places in between those spaces is called the stairwell. And many of us, to get to the living room or get to the basement, you take one step at a time. And when I get stuck, I'm in the middle trying to decide which direction I go, which is okay. So when you're in those spaces, you have to recognize who you are, where you are. Second analogy that connects with that, imagine when you're in this space, man, because you already see what's happening. This is you transitioning from who you were to who you are to who you're trying to become. So that means you've outgrown the old house or the old version of yourself. Imagine a turtle leaving its shell. You out in this bitch naked and afraid. And I ain't talking about the TV show. So when you leave your old shell, that means you've outgrown it. When you outgrow that shell, you're outside the shell and you're out here vulnerable as hell and transparent as hell. That's why things are so intense, emotionally, mentally, physically, because you're growing while you're anticipating your bigger, better shell. And when you go into that shell, you have to grow into that place too. And then you grow into that shell until you outgrow it. And then the cycle just repeats itself, just like the hotel analogy. My hotel right now, 10 floors. Next hotel, 20 floors. Next hotel, 30 floors. So that's what it is. You're in between. And the best way I can describe that in between a salamander and a gator is a saligator. Gator. So, man, be a saligator. Embrace it. Enjoy it. That means I can do a little salamander stuff. I can do a little gator stuff. I'm going a little bit back and forth. But going back and forth is still progress. It's still progress. So you got to count it. And part of counting that progress is understanding who you are and who you're trying to become. You're working on it in real time. Great question. Any others? Got a couple minutes left. Who want it? All right. Excellent. 2 points. We go. Oh, I'm sorry. Lewis, what you got?
Just making, I was going to type it out, but something I have to share. So, the best advice that Jason gave to me, and he's given a lot over the past 3.5 years we've known each other, is that despite what we may think, Beyonce was not always Beyonce. She started out in Destiny's Child, but actually, Girls' Time, I'm going to take it even back further. And the empire she has now, she was also a salamander.
These are facts.
That's all.
Thank you for that. These are absolute facts. You can always compare and contrast yourself to different people. And what's the core of it? How do I compare and contrast myself to myself? All different versions. So I want to share the endless opportunities that we have. I mentioned earlier the black and white thinking salamander. Between black and white, you have a minimum of 50 shades of gray. Y'all don't watch the movie. Y'all don't seen read the book, right? You got 50 shades of gray. So that means I have 52 options to do things new, different, and uncomfortable. But that's just 52. Let's go a little bit further. As a dad, I read a lot of books to my boys. And some of the books, man, are phenomenal. These kids' books are phenomenal. Like, how did I miss this growing up? So one of the books I read was about different animals from A to Z. And when it got to S, it shared that, and I don't know if you all know this, that there are 12,000 different species of sea moss in the world. I had no idea. I thought it was just one, first name C, last name Moss. It's a whole crew. It's a whole crew. 12,000 different versions. So I start putting things together. There's 12,000 different species of sea moss. If I learned about one species per day, it could take me 32.8 years to know every species of sea moss. That means I have 12,052 options available, and we're just talking about black and white thinking and sea moss. Imagine all the other things in life that we know nothing about, including ourselves. Ooh, yes. Let's go. Listen, I've been doing this shit my whole life. Welcome, y'all, to my mind. Welcome to my life. Welcome to me. Welcome to that honey bun, baby. I'm busting you upside the head, but it's gentle, it's soft, it's sweet, and it's still a salt. All right, 7 o'clock Pacific time. I said an hour. I'm a stickler for time. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you so much for taking time, choosing to be here, choosing to invest in yourself, choosing to invest in me. This is free. All this stuff out right now is free. It's free. Take advantage. Give it away because it's free for now. Ooh, it's free for now. I'm telling y'all where I'm going. And understand where I'm going. Everybody's not going to have access. Think about LeBron James. Everybody ain't got access. You know, Oprah. Everybody ain't got access. But if you do have access, Tyler Perry, and these are people that's going to be on the show. Tyler Perry, what up, dog? Holla at your boy. Tyler Perry, people that got these folks' cell phone number have access. I'm going to get to a place in my career, in my life. Everybody will not have access. You all have access for now because you are part of my village. Y'all part of my crew, and that's probably not likely to change. But everybody doesn't have my actual cell phone number. But those who do, they're part of my village. They're part of my community. They're part of my core. And that may change because I live in a whole hotel nobody's ever heard of, Branch Enterprises, right? I made this hotel. It's nice. It's nice. There's endless floors, and I just keep growing. I keep getting better. So, again, thank you all. I'm so thankful because I have something and I'm willing to share. And the reality is, you have something, and I would challenge you to be willing to share. Much love. Episode 2 is coming Sunday. So episodes are dropping Wednesday and Sunday. So typically you have a solo episode with me on Wednesday, and then Sunday it's an episode with a guest. But for this first week, I want to build some rapport. So you're just gonna deal with me until I bring the guests in within a week or so. But that's the order of the podcast. Again, like, share, comment, add your feedback. Let's blow this thing up. I said I want to impact. I want to reach 3 million. That's my goal. Why? Because it's 3. It's 3. And how we do it is sharing the wealth. Just share it. If it helps, share it and let it be what it's going to be organically. Much love to you all. Have a great weekend. Have a great life. Have a better life. Take care of yourselves. Invest in yourselves. Until next time. Peace.